Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Mikel Arteta has been speaking after Arsenal beating Orlando City 3-1. He's been speaking to the media in his press conference and was speaking about Alexander Zinchenko confirming that the Ukrainian man is now an Arsenal player. He has to fulfill a few formalities of the transfer, but it is now done and dusted. He spoke about new transfers and other targets, and he said at times you have to get some players out of the door. You need to get some outgoings, and a lot of outgoings are going to be happening at Arsenal, and the process is going to start very, very soon. Talk to me in the comment section before we get into Mikel Arteta's press conference. Which players do you want badly out of Arsenal Football Club at the moment? Talk to me right in the comment section. He also spoke about Arsenal's ambitions and targets, and he said we want to compete and we want to win in every competition we are competing in. Every competition we are in, we want to actually try and win it. So maybe it is time to be excited as Arsenal fans. Of course, tell me which title do you want Arsenal to win first? Personally, I want us to win the Europa League because we've never won it. So if we can win the Europa League, it will be absolutely amazing. And I want to win the Europa League because we are there with Man United. And if we can win it and United don't win it, I'll be absolutely flying over the moon. But hit the like button for me. Let's get this video to 1,000 likes. Make sure you also subscribe to the podcast. Let's get to see what Mikel Arteta has been speaking about in his press conference. So he spoke about Alexander Zinchenko first and foremost, and he said, "Yes, as you have seen, he is already here." The boss said in his post-match press conference, there are still a few formalities to get everything completed, but we are really happy to have him. Now, of course, I spoke about it in the first video of the day in the match reaction. Alexander Zinchenko was in the stands with Edu and also with Vinay Venkatesham. I mean, if I've not got it wrong, because I know the guy, but that really looks like Vinay Venkatesham. And that is Edu, that is Alexander Zinchenko there watching that game as Arsenal were thumping Orlando City 3-1. And the Arsenal website are saying Arsenal, Arteta coached the 25-year-old when he was an assistant manager at Manchester City and said he will bring extra options due to his versatility. So Mikel says he can play both in defense and in midfield. He was a natural number 10 early in his career, and we converted him into a left back, which can do a lot of things that we want in our way and style of playing. And he says the versatility. I think this is a very, very important point here from Mikel, because he says the versatility is something that is going to be very important for the team, because we have players in that position who are more specific fullbacks. So I'm really happy to have him at the club. So that is Mikel Arteta speaking about Alexander Zinchenko, confirming first and foremost that the player is now part of the Arsenal team, and also saying that the versatility that he comes with is something that we are going to be really thriving on. And I think it's absolutely right, because if you read all the scout reports around Alexander Zinchenko, he actually started out as a number 10. His earlier days in his career were actually, he was trained, he was brought up as an attacking midfielder, and then he was converted into that central midfield role where he plays much of the time for Ukraine. And now they converted him at Manchester City. They converted him into a left back, into an inverted left back. What you'd call an elbow system, and it's actually fitting very well and done very, very well. So all of us are very, very excited about Alexander Zinchenko. The relationship that Mikel Arteta has with him, is it actually going to be very, very pivotal in what we see on the pitch? At least what we know with Mikel is that all the signings that he has actually made have not actually flopped. I think it's only Nuno Tavares that is struggling to get that balance between him and nature. But if he can do that, it's gonna be a wonderful signing for Arsenal. Albert Sambi as well just needs to add to his strength a little bit, and also physicality, probably physique. But I think he's a quality player, quality signing. So Mikel's signings have proven to be on point. I think first and foremost, it's because we take a lot of time. He gives them a lot of time to see who is actually going to fit into the system that is trying to put up at the club, but also is having a scouting network very similar to that of Manchester City. And if you look at City, although the likes of Jack Grealish have not actually hit the ground running, but you feel deep down there that at any point in time Jack Grealish will be flying, and their signings have been absolutely over the moon. So Mikel Arteta confirms Alexander Zinchenko. That is done and dusted. We are just waiting for the official announcement from the club, which could come in very, very soon. Or I mean later. I mean, you never know what Arsenal are planning. So speaking about the other areas in terms of signings, he says on if there are more signings to come. He says, I do not know. It's what we have today. We have a large squad, so we have to make some decisions as well on the players that we are not going to be using consistently, and be fair and straight with them. And that process is going to start very, very soon. So that is the point on our outgoings. He says, in terms of more signings, we have to do some work and take some decisions on players that we are not going to be using consistently, and be fair and straight with them, and that process is going to start very, very soon. So I think this one is a very hard one for me. If you ask me, it's gonna be a very, very hard one for Edu and Mikel Arteta to do. I mean, it's a very young project. It's a project full of young players, and it is gonna be hurting and very difficult to tell a player you're not going to be part of it. Yes, this is our vision. This is our ambition, but you're not part of it. It's gonna be very, very interesting. But the important point there, and the key point that I'll pick out is more signings are going to depend on outgoings, and for me, that's a non-negotiable. Look, if more signings, if more quality depends on players leaving, then it's a non-negotiable. Ainsley goes, Pepe goes, Cedric goes, whoever, Leno goes, whoever is actually in the way, whoever is in line of our success should actually be put aside. So mention, like I said, tell me which player you'd love Arsenal to get rid of, very, very fast. Tell me which one player that you feel should be leaving the club at the moment. But Mikel says at the moment that process is going to start very, very soon. Actually, the truth is that we've done very, very little work in terms of getting players out of the door, and also trying to lessen the wage burden, and also trying to lessen on the number of deadwood in the squad. So I think that is what we're going to be working on next. On outgoing, he says we have a big squad, and now we have to make things happen. Look, I don't think there needs to be any kind of apologetic messages on outgoings. It is all about fighting for your place in the Arsenal squad. If you cannot fight for your place, then the manager has never been to blame. The manager is always going to give you a clean slate, and Mikel is not one manager renowned for giving everyone a clean slate, but at least we understand 90% of players in this squad have been given a clean slate. Some of them have used the opportunity and they've become quality players. Others have actually none. On the versatility in the new signings that is actually signing, it says it's one of the things and the way we can adapt structures, formations, and rotations within the squad, and playing with the same players in a different way. To be more unpredictable is obviously important, and that is why we recruited such kind of players. Now, in terms of versatility, he's speaking about Fabio Vieira, who can play for you as a 10, 8, 11, and 7. You're talking about Alexander Zinchenko, who can play for you as an attacking midfielder, central midfielder, and also as a fullback. You're talking about Marquinhos as well, who can play for you as a left winger, right winger as well. So literally, I think the point he's trying to make here is you want to have players that, can play across the field, can play in more than one role, more than two roles, at a go, and they've got that ability. Manchester City have it. I've seen Bernardo Silva play in that cheeky space ahead of Rodri last campaign, and I was like, wow. But of course, we've seen him play on the left, we've seen him play on the right, and it's been absolutely magnificent for them as well. So I think what Mikel is trying to do is trying to implement something that Pep Guardiola has been very, very good at doing. Getting the same players, but getting them to play in a completely very, very different way. I love it. I absolutely love it. I feel it just creates that kind of false squad depth, kind of pseudo squad depth. Like you have Vieira and you have Odegaard. So Vieira doesn't play as a 10, but then he can play as an 8. All right, and can also play for you as a left winger or as a right winger or as a right midfielder or left midfielder. So the versatility for me is absolutely very important and key. At the point where you feel Arsenal do not have the squad, they are working to build yet, because you want to have two A-class players per position. That might not come very, very early, but what you can do is you can have those extra players in the pitch that can play for you across extra positions. For example, if Kieran Tierney plays as a left back, then Alexander Zinchenko can be deployed in midfield, and he actually works out very, very well. So versatility, that is a point that I really agree with Mikel. Very, very important. He also spoke about the impact of the 5 substitutions rule, and he said it will be much more unpredictable to try to figure out what the opponent is going to try to do, and they're going to be changes. So what you have planned at the beginning doesn't mean it is going to happen all at the end. Yeah. I think there is a point there. I mean, five substitutions, in my opinion, is ridiculous. I just don't like it, but nothing to do. On Albert Sambi Lokonga, we're trying to find where he fits comfortable and can develop his in the best way possible. He's really comfortable playing in that position as a number 10, and we want to try and see what he can bring in that position as well. It is true now. It is true that now we are missing Emile Smith-Rowe and Fabio Vieira another, so that and Fabio another, so that position was a little bit short, and he's still done very, very well. Albert Sambi Lokonga as a number 10. What are your thoughts here, lads? I mean, I do not want to debunk the manager's ideas, but okay, let's wait and see. With Fabio Vieira and Emile Smith-Rowe, I feel the number 10 is quite okay. So I will not comment on Albert Sambi Lokonga, but I think we should play more as a central midfielder rather than as an attacking midfielder. Please, Mikel, do not spoil the party, please. On Lucas Torreira's future, it says Lucas Torreira is our player. Now, I want to tell you this. This. Lucas Torreira flew out of the Arsenal camp during that game. The understanding is around this one is that he might have gone to deal with some transfer dealings. However, at the moment, nothing can be concluded. On Gabriel Jesus and Edin Ketia being used as a striker partnership, he says we want to build those relationships, and they haven't played a lot of minutes together yet. The same with Martin and Gabi. For example, we have to start to do that. We obviously do it in training, but to put it into practice in matches is important, and you can see that they are finding themselves with good timing, and it's important because they are two players with a very, very big goal threat. On what preseason gives us, finally, he said, well, first of all, obviously, the exposure of the club. We are a huge club, and you can see in every city that we are present in, the reaction and the support that we get is really important for our brand, for our supporters to be next to them. And the USA is a huge market. We have a large fan base, and we have to promote that and make them feel that we are ready to come here and then those practices and those tours give you a different level of competition against opponents that you don't really know. They are in the middle of their season, so physically they are in a better condition than you, and then to play in that heat, I really think it's a good condition. It brings a good adaptation for when we have to go back to the UK. So that is according to Mikel Arteta on what we get from preseason, and also what exactly the team the team news is, and a couple of comments from that game. So I think honestly, to be honest, the 4 games we've played have shown very much progress. If we can keep on winning, right? If we can keep on winning, then it is going to be absolutely fabulous. Speak to you in the next one.